I thought that easily, cause I messed up so many times.
To my channel. If this is your first time here, I would like for you to do me a favor and click down below and subscribe to my channel. Like, comment, and share with your friends and family and let them know some new things are coming this way. So, being that this may be your first time here, you probably don't know that Survive the Break Ministry is a ministry where I share many videos of me just ministering and dance. But as this year 2020 have now come, God has shifted me to speak more, to make more videos about my life personally, practical videos. God have graced me in the area definitely of relationships, because I've been through many relationships, starting even as a young age with my father. So this time I want to come on here and I want to share with you guys many things that God has given me. So make sure that you like and subscribe so that you will be able to get many videos. Once I upload them, you can be the first one to come in. We're going to do a lot of giveaways. I have a book that haven't been published yet, but it is definitely on the way. Just hang tight with me. So as well as t-shirts and all of those things that will be coming. So I want you guys to make sure that you subscribe down below. How do you know that God is qualifying a relationship? How do you know that this person may be for you or whatever? I'm not a psychic, I'm not God. I can't tell you that, but I can give you the steps that God has given me and which have helped me in my life and in my relationships. And that's romantic relationship, friendships, family, and so on, business. So I want to be here and help you guys. So I pray to God that you guys take the time out and subscribe to the channel, definitely. Welcome back, guys. So I decided that I want to go ahead and give you guys an introduction of my life and who I am, so that you guys may be able to make a decision, you know, whether this could be great content for you or not, or whatever. I don't want to waste you guys' time, but I do want to share my story, my testimony, and as many people know, it is still going. I still have a testimony. Things are still happening in my life, and I am just taking it day by day and allowing God to build and add more to it however He wants, so that the Most High may be glorified. So I pretty much want to tell you guys today. So like I've mentioned before, my name is Chelsea. I am 32 years old. I am 32. I am a Libra. I don't know if many people, because a lot of times people always ask me, what's your sign? So I am a Libra, for those who like to know signs and things. I have 2 children. I have my son Wendarius. I have my daughter Genesis, 12 and 7. My babies are my world. I love my babies. I want to be very transparent with you guys on this channel, and to make it to where you guys can feel at home, to know like I'm a sister. And I pray that no one judges me, my story, what I've been through, what I've done, and even so for those who do, I just pray God's blessings over you. I pray that God never allow you to go through the things that I had to go through. I pray that God humbles you, you know. And for those who will be here to love, support me during this journey, I praise God for you. I really thank God for you. It's going to be an exciting journey, and I need you guys to help me, to encourage me, to motivate me in all ways, because I am very humble, and I don't want anyone to ever think that someone is better than the next. So we all doing this together. When one sister win, we all win. And when one sister get on, the sister can help the others get on. So that's pretty much what I want to add in there. So yeah, so I live in Louisiana. I don't know how many people know, you know, down south Louisiana or whatever. But I wanted to share this part of my testimony, just starting off. The year 2016, I was into a relationship at this time with this young guy, and we began to conversate. And in that year, it was a very toxic relationship. But I must say that it became, and I went through that much because I didn't take heed to the signs that God gave me. I didn't take heed to the prayers that I prayed before I actually met this gentleman. And not only that, I didn't listen to my spirit when my spirit was uneasy. It was pulling, and it wasn't settled. I didn't have a settle in my spirit. So I didn't allow peace to be my compass, peace directing me, you know, because I know that many of us know that, you know, when we have that peace and we can move into a different direction, we know that it's pretty much God is leading us, saying this is peace. Though God does take us down some places to where it's kind of chaotic, some things happen, and more than likely it'll be times where God tries to get things to us and pull something out of us, because most times when pressure comes, he's trying to break something so that something can come out. So yeah, the year 2016, I was in a relationship with this guy, and God did, the first sign I do remember God speaking to me was to ask this fellow where he stayed, where did he live, you know, and at that point, at that moment, I didn't want to ask him, so I'm just like, nah. I mean, and it wasn't like God was saying, hey, Chelsea, ask, you know. Because I know sometimes people mind, because I used to do that when I used to wonder. Most time God doesn't speak audibly. He speaks through things, through other people and all of that. But, excuse me, this time God had spoke pretty much audibly in my spirit. And he told me to ask this guy where he lived. And at that point, I didn't want to ask him or whatever, because I was too afraid, you know, to even get in his business like that. But the thing that I should have thought of, I have the right to get into his business like that, because I am putting myself, you know, at risk of being in a relationship with someone but not knowing what I need to know about him. And I went ahead and I did ask this guy, and I asked him, and he say, I asked him, I wanted to know, where do you live? So I finally bent to that or whatever. This was the first sign that God gave me, and I bent to that, and I asked the fella, I say, where do you live? And he replied that he lived with his sister, that he had just like transitioned from a new job or something like that. He was staying with his sister. And I was saying, oh, okay. And he, you know, proceeded to ask me, like, why did you ask me that? Kind of giggling. And I told him, I said, you know, God told me to ask you. My spirit told me to ask you. And he laughed it off. So that was the first sign, and I just continued to go. And I don't know how many people know it, but when God tell you to ask someone something, God has the answer. But he wants you to hear what that person is saying. So when that person answered that question, more than likely, God is saying it's the opposite of what they're saying. I have you to ask this question because something is not right here and you're missing it. And that's how I looked at it. And as time proceeded, we went on. And I remember a time we went to his mother's house, and we was talking and conversating, and his mom pointed out, she said, this is an anointed woman of God, and you bet not hurt her. If you hurt her, you're going to pay. You know, because this is an anointed woman of God. I can remember those words. And the fellow, you know, began to say, you know, no, that's not what this about or whatever. Whatever. I love her and this and that. And he began to tell her, he said, we was talking and she ended up asking me where I live. And she said the Holy Spirit told her to ask. And he just found it was so funny. But the thing is, he already knew if I had to ask that question, God was the one that revealed that question, that had me to ask him that question. And God was really revealing and exposing him. But it was only if I was to pay attention to what God was doing. God was setting it up so that I would have the answers that I need in the beginning, so I wouldn't have to go all the way to the end of the thing and have to try to pour all those thoughts in my mind and saying, yes, we're going to be together, this is a perfect guy, whatever. And let me tell you that how the enemy works. Because while I was dating this guy, before I had my list. I know we all didn't had a list before, but I didn't have my list, and I was writing on my list, and everything was pretty much this guy was, I wanted someone who knew how to cook at the time. And not saying that this is my list now. So for any of those that counterfeits out there that may see this video thinking that I still want it, I don't want the same stuff anymore. So the guy, he knew how to cook. I love big black trucks. He had a big black truck or whatever. Don't judge me, y'all. what else? It was so many things on there that I liked. Oh, he was healthy. He went to the gym often. He took care of his body or whatever, and that was something that I was doing, and I wanted someone that was doing the same things as me. And those were some things that I was looking at my list, and I was saying, wow, I was like, this must be really, the guy. And then not only that, the guy actually had said, I didn't been here in Louisiana all this time. We never ran past each other. He knew my brother. He knew my brother best friend. He knew a lot of people that I knew. We had mutual friends, but he and I never met before. And so him and I just thinking, well, maybe this something God had, put together. Maybe this something that God wanted. No, it was God saying, I'm hiding you from this person. And that's what it pretty much boiled down to. It was, God hiding, because sometimes God would hide you for seasons and seasons and seasons, because he don't want you to go out there and get hurt. But I know that God allows all things to happen, and it works for your good, Romans 2:28, because God knew that I was going to have to deal with other counterfeits. God knew that I would have to deal with other people, and he needed me to get the information and the things to know what guys do, who a guy is, and all of these type of things, and the signs to look for, so that I know when the correct one or the one that God has for me, when he come, I would know. And I wouldn't have to waste decades. I wouldn't have to wait months or years, but I would know within at least 3 months, I would say. And this because God have experienced me, given me so many experience in it. And that's not saying that I've dated thousands of guys. Let's get that correct. Let's get that right. But what I'm saying is God has given me wisdom. I had got so much wisdom out of in relationships. Like when things happen or whatever, I take note of it. And many times people would try to say that it's past hurt, and that's why you think these things. But more than likely, you will know if, like a kid, when you touch the stove, and it's hot, and your parents tell you don't touch that, it's hot. And once you touch it, you find out that it's really hot. And then you go on through life, and then you come, and this stove is here again, and you see it flaming red. That triggers your mind. I'm not going to touch that because it was hot last time, so I'm not going to touch it this time. But see, most people like to manipulate you in relationships and say that you're dealing with past hurt, and this is why you look at me like this or whatever. But no, once someone triggers or give you the same that someone else has given you, show you the same behavior as someone else, you have to pump the brakes. You can't just say that doesn't mean that he's the same person or whatever. You want to sit back, and that should be cautious for you to find out or see what it is that, why, because so many times behavior is wrapped in a root of something. What did this person deal with when they was younger? What did this person deal with as they was getting older, like in relationships? Did women not want this person? Do he have like insecurities or whatever? Did he have a father? Do he like even love his mom, his sister? Do he have a thing for women that he just hate them and he just want to dog women to get back at who probably hurt him before? It's many questions we have to ask, but definitely the number one thing is we have to make sure that we consult God when we enter a relationship with anybody. Once we meet anybody, new friends, new whatever, romantic relationships, we have to always ask God, like, who sent this person? God, did you send this person, or did the enemy send this person? Because when God wants to bless you, he sends a person. When the enemy wants to destroy you, he sends a person. So you have to make sure and look at why this person come. Like, why is this person in my life? Like, why is they sent here or whatever? And that's the things that I had started doing after my relationship. So I mean, it's a lot that happened. So with that year being 2016, I entered that relationship. And I'm sorry y'all jumped like that, but just bear with me. So that year I was in that relationship. I came out of 2017. I think it was like a year or so. I actually exited that relationship, and when I exited that relationship, I was very, very hurt. I was very, very hurt. I was very scarred. I was very my mind, it was pretty much I don't know, I wouldn't even know what to call what my mind was, but it was very unstable. my identity of who I was, I had no idea. And prior to this relationship, I knew who I was. I was solid in who I was. And I was like, this is my purpose. This is what God called me to do. But once I got in that relationship, the verbal abuse started to like chop me down. It was a character thing that the enemy sent this person to do, to like tear me apart and make me not notice who I am, my identity. And this nothing against the person or anything. I forgive them. I still love that person. I pray for those type of people and everything. I never wrestled against flesh and blood, and at that time I did, because I didn't even want to forgive that person. See, all of that's going to be in my book and tell you how all of that ended up happening. But yes, I felt like that that person was sent to tear down who I was as a person, my identity. Because the enemy knows, when you know who you are, your identity, that you can be powerful and you can move forward in things that God has for you, rather than you have to try to second guess yourself or whatever. And that's what began to happen. I lost identity of who I was. I started to lack even in my parental skills. And some days I would sit there and I would actually cry. Like, I couldn't even get out the bed. I would roll out the bed. When I roll, like literally, like my body, I would like actually roll out the bed. And when I roll out the bed, I just sit on the floor and I sit there. That's my morning routine. I would just cry. I just cry until I got all that out that morning and I can go. Then I go later and sit somewhere and cry. And I believe that I was more upset with myself because I didn't take heed, or I didn't slow down. I think I was so caught up in the ideal of dating and love rather than it being authentic. I don't know if you guys kind of understand that, but it was more of me just just experiencing and enjoying the moment of someone wanting me, thinking someone really wanted me and me wanting them back. And like, we can actually have a story. Hey, we never even knew each other for so long, and boom, this was God. And the whole time I'm thinking these godly thoughts and this person thinking something different. And so much happened. Even fornication was in a relationship, and I believe that soul tie is what really made it pretty tough for me to let go of. So finally I had said a prayer to God, and I told God to I told God that I wasn't gonna be able to lead this guy. I said, if you don't pull him away from me and you allow him to go on and neglect me or don't want me, I said, I'm gonna be a fool. Now, see, many people might say I'm a fool for even saying that, but I knew me. I knew my flesh. I knew my own strength at that time. I knew that I wasn't strong enough to let go by myself. I knew I needed God. And not only that, I needed God, but I needed this person to not even want me as well. I needed this person to move on to something different and not want to be with me, because I could be strong in God one day, and the enemy, the temptation are always there, and I could have just easily went back to that person if he was to show up or whatever. But God made it to where this guy actually started dating someone else, and that broke me again. And even he, the guy stopped answering my phone calls, stopped talking to me, all kind of things, that happened. And it was pretty much just, it was eating me up, because I know sometimes us as human, when we don't have control of something, it drives us insane. If I call you, you answer your phone, it drives us insane. So all of those things was happening, and it was breaking me. But I can't have any kind of regret of what I went through, actually, because it built me and it made me who I am today. It made me who I am today, and it made me look at a lot of things and, a lot of situations and circumstances very different than what I would. And it grew my relationship with God, because even, with that, God always used your pain for a purpose. It has to be something that scarred you, that went in and did something to you, and you turn around, you had to make it good, like your lemon and your lemonades. It's always, God always use your pain for your purpose, and that was something that God did for me. And that's why I say I would never regret it, because I learned so much even about myself, because I know myself. Like I was speaking to God, I was telling God, you know, if you don't have this guy to leave and not want me, and he keep rejecting me, I'm going to be the one that sits stupid, and I'm going to receive, and I'm going to settle for what I want to settle for. And even though you have something great for me, and God loved me just that much that he allowed that this to happen, because like 2 days after I said that prayer, God actually had this gentleman. I found out that he was dating someone else or whatever, that he was actually working with and stuff. And he, you know, he went on by his life, and God knew that I was telling the truth when I told him that. And see, that's why we have to go really deep and release all our secrets that we think are secrets to God. But we have to confess those things to him. So you can give him permission to come in and do what needs to be done, because most time we're not able to do it ourselves. So that's pretty much what had happened. And God had spoke to me about the book. He told me to write about it, because I was asking God, like, you know, all of this going on or whatever. He said, I want you to write about it. Write about it, because I started writing in the 5th grade. I actually had a book that's published in Lexington School, elementary school, and it was titled I'll Always Be a Dancer. And this was in the 5th grade, and not knowing that God was even using my purpose then of writing. I'm a great writer. I can express things better with me writing than me even speaking, and that's something that I'm asking God to help me with, to be able to speak well as well as I write, because that's my comfort zone. When I write, I can write like I'm talking now, but I can write, in every word it'll be so heartfelt, and you can articulate it. I can articulate what I'm feeling and my thoughts and things very well, you know. So that ended up happening, and I began to write. God told me to write, because I never want someone else to experience what I experienced and not have a escape for it, not have someone to look at the end of the finish line, and I say, come on, keep going, you can get to it. I love to be someone hope. I'm an encourager, I'm an exhorter. I love for people to know that you have someone else that have went through what you've went through, and you will make it out. Like this is nothing. You're gonna make it out, you know. And I just like to have my life to be a ministry for other people, so that they will see that it's okay. It's okay, because most people don't like to tell their testimonies, because they're embarrassed and ashamed of what it is that they have went through in life. But God allowed you to go through that so that you can tell someone else, because someone else might walk those same shoes that you walk, but yours may be a lot bigger, yours may be a lot smaller, but they know that it is hope. So you can be a hope pusher. You can be someone who people see, you know, that light, and you just tell your story so someone else could know. They'll find out, like, she's just like me, he's just like me. It doesn't matter. Like, pain doesn't have a perspective person of who, or a age group, or a color, or a race that it attacks. We all will experience pain, and we will experience pain so that it may grow us. We have to go through pain in order to get what's inside of us to come out. That's why pressure comes. That's why life situations come. And not only that, it helps us to lean on God more. It's a song by Helen. I can't think of her last name. But she say, if Jesus say, if you lean on me, only if you lean on him, you're going to be okay. And that's the thing that we have to live by, that we will always lean on Christ to be the one who carry us through when we go through. Because the greatest thing is going through it. It may not feel good, but as long as you're still moving, you're going to get to the end of it. But when you sit in it and you waddle in it, and you allow yourself to be your own, like you have a self-pity party, that's not the good thing. You want to continue to move. I'm going to give you guys a lot of tips, because the Holy Spirit definitely wrote my book, Survive the Break, and I read it, and I look at the editing on it and everything, and it just blows my mind, because it lets me know the things that the Lord was speaking to me then as I was writing. It blows my mind, because I see where I am now with the growth and everything. It's just practical. It's very practical, like steps that the Lord walked me through. like the unforgiveness, you know, I mean the self-evaluations of myself even after, because sometimes we get in relationships and we are one person. Once we get in that relationship, we are this person. But after that relationship, you will always be someone else. You'll never be the same each and every time you get in a relationship, because someone's going to take a piece of you, and you're going to take something from someone else, and you know you're a different person. So we have to do all those type of things. So all of this going to be in my book, but as today I just wanted to kind of share this with you guys, and I want you all to know, you know, speak about it. Speak about it. I'm here to share my testimony, my life situations. I'll be vlogging when I go out and about. We know that it's quarantine now, so we all are in the house, so we're not able to do as much. But definitely I will be using I'll be using YouTube as another platform. You guys can follow me on Facebook. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My name on Facebook is Survive the Break. My name on Instagram is at Survive the Break as well. You guys can follow me on there. I don't do the rest of those social media things. For one, I really don't have too much knowledge of it, especially that Twitter. I just be tweeting everybody. I wouldn't know who I'm tweeting that at and stuff. So. But yeah, so I want to share this first video with you guys, and I want you all to know I gladly appreciate you for taking the time to sit here and listen to me talk, and just share, you know, with you guys my introduction about me, pretty much Survive the Break, how I got started and everything. And as we go further in this journey, I just thank you guys for holding my hand. I ask that you guys encourage me, pray for me, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, subscribe to Survive the Break, especially if you know young ladies, because we're going to be talking about a lot of things just dealing with young women as well. I'm just 32, maybe old to most people, but it's very still young to me. So we're going to be talking about like all of those type of things, like with our bodies and the things we go through, our mind, and how God created us, because most people don't understand that women are created very different from how men are created. The way that a man think and the way that men receive things are very different from the way that women receive things and the way that women think. So we're going to be talking about a lot of those things, because I have this very amazing relationship coach, male that I mean is awesome. Tony Gaskin, you guys, he's an awesome life coach, relationship coach, whatever you need. He's very what's the word what I use for him, because it's so many, but he's a very awesome and faithful, like he's a great man that most people need to listen to. He tells his audience is very big for women, and it helps a lot. You know, it can help you a lot to understand how men think and how men are, and he will tell you, you know, and not sugarcoat it. It may be hard for you to receive, but it's very much going to be well for you to use in your future or whatever. So like I said before, I appreciate you guys so much for joining me today. And I pray that you guys have an amazing, happy Saturday. And until next time, we will talk later. Peace. Okay, well, that's all for today. I just want you guys to be able to subscribe, like, and click down below and share it with your friends and your family. Let you guys know that I truly appreciate you and for taking the time out to watch this video. Thank you, and talk to you guys later.
God has worked it out for my good. Yeah, it was meant to kill me, sent to destroy me.